Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about finesses. I'm going to show some of this is pretty straightforward, but it's going to get pretty deep by next week, and just like the finesses will. So that's a good thing. I've got a very, one of the basic simple finesses right here. And you tell me if you stop me if you've heard this one. No, I'm sure you've heard this one. The thing is that, of course, here we're trying to win a trick with the king of spades, and it helps to play from the other side of the table first. We make one of the opponents choose a card before, let's see, we make one of our opponents choose a card before we have to play the king. And as long as the ace is in the right side, then we will win a trick, whether they take their ace or not. This is an interesting thing to think about, because as long as as long as West here started with the ace of spades, if they play it now, that's fine, because we get to play the 4, and later on we'll win a trick with the king of spades. That's a straightforward finesse. Here's another common popular one. If I'm going to win a trick with the queen of spades, that's the key card. It's not the highest in the suit. Of course, we can play towards the ace, but there's a problem if we do that right now. If we play the ace, now there's no way we can win a trick with the queen. If I lead it now, it will lose. If I lead the small one, it certainly won't drive out the king. It'll just lose to the 10. So the king is still out there. The key is we have to play from the other side of the table and make one of our opponents choose a card before we do. That's the key. If one player chooses a card first, then we've got a 50-50 chance of winning a trick with the queen. It's 50-50 because the king doesn't have to be in this hand. It could be in this hand over in the east hand. And if that is the case, then when we try the finesse, it will simply not work. And the thing is that a 50-50 chance is better than a 0 chance. And if we don't take the finesse, then we have a 0 chance of getting 2 tricks with a situation like this. Let's look at another common one. I've added a second suit here just so I have a little bit of transportation. I don't really need it. In this case, the queen is a card that we want to win a trick with. And early on, you may think, well, suppose I lead the queen. The problem is, if the king is on either side, then the queen cannot win a trick. And since we don't have the jack or the 10, we've only won one trick in the suit. In this situation, in fact, even if the king is on the other side of the table, if we now lead the queen, a good defender will cover an honor with an honor, and they'll play the king in this case. And again, we've only won one trick, the ace. If we want to win 2 tricks in a suit like this, then we have to play it this way. We have to cross over to the other side of the table however we can. In this case, I have the ace of spades, so that's fine. Luckily, it's the only high card I've got there. And now we have to lead back towards the queen, hoping that this hand has the king. And if they do and they come up with it, well, that's fine. We can play low. If they don't play the king, then our queen will win this trick. So if we play low, I've saved my ace of diamonds here in the dummy so that whatever they lead back, I can win that trick. And now I get a trick with the queen of spades. Let's see. In this situation, the finesse is against the queen, and we've got to finesse this jack. Now, if this were our exact holding, now this is just representative, of course, it's just a partial. You have to be careful, because if you were to win the first trick with the ace of spades or the king, either one, you're now on the wrong side of the table to take the finesse. Luckily, in this case, I have the ace of diamonds, so I can cross back to my hand, and then I can try the finesse again. And this time, as long as West is holding the queen, I can't see what this card is, but if it's the queen, then my jack will win. Oh, it's not the queen. Okay, well, they're 50-50. And so I like to set up my examples so sometimes they don't work, but that's kind of fun. This is an interesting situation as well, because the temptation here, the mistake that's easy to make, is to win a trick in spades first. Look what happens when I do that. If I win a trick with the ace and play small, now I may think, well, I want to take a finesse with that jack. The problem is if the queen is on the wrong side of the, or on the correct side of the table, in fact, on the west side, now I have no small card to discard alongside the jack. My jack is dead and I've blown the finesse. I've only won 2 tricks. How do we play this combination? Let's go back. The thing is, you have to take the finesse first. Now I'm finessing the jack against the queen. So we have to lead low first. And if the queen is on the correct side of the table, the jack will win. There's a good chance here that West won't play the queen. And if they don't, then the jack will win. If West did play the queen, that's no big deal because we can lead the 2. If they take the queen now, that's not a problem because we can play small. And now our jack is set up to win a trick. I'm a little short on other suits to play around with, but we can win a trick now with the jack. And we get all the rest of the tricks in the suit. I have this situation set up. I have the diamonds so I can move to either side of the table if I need to. This is, but here I don't because the lead is in the correct side of the hand. Let me move to another example where this is a case where the finesse could be on either side of the table. It's not leading from your hand towards the dummy. It could be leading from the dummy towards your hand. In this instance, I want to try and win a trick with the king, which means that I have to lead from the other side of the table, but I'm on the wrong side. Luckily here I have the diamonds to work with and I can get to the other side of the table. And now I can take the finesse against the ace and they take the ace now, that's fine. If they take their ace, my king is now promoted into a winner and whatever the robot returns back, oh, it's a spade this time. Then I get to win the king of spades and the ace here. We've seen this situation and this one. I want to go to a little more advanced situation where we're dealing with a repeated finesse, because when a finesse works, and if you still have other high cards, often you'll need to do it twice. You'll want to do the finesse twice. In this example, you see in the hearts, we can win one trick all the time. We can promote a winner. We can drive out the ace and either the king or whatever's left will win a trick. But what if we wanted to win 2 tricks? It's possible to win 2 with the king and the queen here. The key is that we can't do it if we lead from this side of the table. We have to lead from this side, and we have to make one of our opponents choose a card before we play one. And if this is the case, then this is how it will work. Our opponent chooses the 10. Now, we don't know what's in these other cards they're holding, but if the ace is one of these cards, our king will win a trick. And sure enough, it does. Now, what's the problem? The finesse worked, and we could do it again, but we're on the wrong side of the table. So luckily, I have this club suit, and I can cross over to my hand. And now I can repeat the finesse. I can lead towards the queen, and this time the opponent takes their ace. But that's fine with us because now the queen is still high and I'm now winning 2 tricks in the heart suit, where before I was only winning 1. Let me look at another repeated finesse. This is a good example where we have a finesse in the hearts. We're hoping that the king is on this side. If the table were upside down, if this were our hand holding, then we'd need to go to the other side of the table, need to lead toward our hand. Bridge lingo, often we'll call this a hook. I love the hook analogy. I'm going to hook the king. We're going to hook the king of hearts. And what I mean by that is I'm playing the cards in a hook this way. I like that hook analogy. So I'm going to lead from my hand and hope that West is holding the king. I'll put in either the queen or the jack. And when it works, then we're situated to do it again, but I'm on the wrong side of the table. If I lead the queen now, it will just lose to the king and we won't get the trick. So let's come back to our hand and let's hook the king again, right? So we come back to our hand with a club, and now let's play the hook. I've got the queen and the king died, and as you can see, we show all the cards. There's the king. lurking in the hand there. And we've won 3 tricks in the hearts by repeating the finesse. And this requires entries. You have to have a way to get back to your hand in order to repeat the finesse. Let's see. This is an example of the same first situation. The problem is we want to win 2 tricks with this king and queen of hearts. In order to do that, we can't lead one. If we lead one, it will drive out the ace, of course, and we'll get 1 trick. But we've lost our king, and we only win 1 trick in the suit. This is the same situation. The thing is that we're on the wrong side of the table. So we have to start this combination by crossing over to the dummy in this case. And this time, we're making East choose a card, a heart, before we do. And as long as that's the case, now East, since this is our hand, East can't see that we have the king and the queen, so they went up with their ace, which is fine. They lead another heart. Well, we get 2 tricks in the heart suit, which we didn't before.
So Mojo, what happens if East in this situation holds the ace?
East does hold the ace, and
hold back. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Let's look at that. We cross to the dummy to take the finesse. Let's win the ace of clubs first. And when the finesse, okay, let me do it this way. Hang on a second. We cross to the dummy, win the ace. And if East holds up on the ace, we win the king, which is fine. No. What are you doing? Let me start this over. Okay. The first time we're in the wrong hand, so we're going to cross to the dummy with the ace and lead a small heart. Now East holds up the ace and we play the king. We've won the trick, but we have to repeat the finesse. What we have to do now is cross back to the dummy with the other entry that we have there. That queen of clubs is high. So we can use our 4 of hearts here. And if East holds up the ace again, it doesn't matter to us. We will win the second trick. And now we've won our 2 hearts. That's all we're going to get.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Let's look at this one. Once again, the finesse is in our hand. It's this heart suit where we're missing the queen. But we have a finesse situation because we can lead hearts from the north and hook the queen this way. I like saying that. That's just fun. We're going to hook the queen, but we have to lead from the other side of the table. So we'll use the clubs to get over there. I've got the ace of clubs and the queen as entries. And now we can make East choose a heart before we do. And my 10 won the trick. That generally implies that the East is holding the queen. So we can repeat it again with our queen of clubs and do it this way. And the queen again doesn't appear, but as you can see, if I show all the cards, there's the queen. It's lurking there. They just chose not to play it. But we managed to win all 4 tricks in the hearts by repeating the finesse a second time. Okay, that's it for finesses for this week. And what we'll do next week is we'll look at finesses against 2 cards, where you're missing 2 high cards and how to play those. Those are a lot of fun too. Thank you all. Any questions? I'm going to stick around for a few minutes, but I know we got a bridge game.